Hi, I'm Dion McCaffrie. I'm a partner in the firm of Andersons. I practice in civil law, mostly doing injury claims for individuals. I also do a bit of defamation work and commercial litigation. How long have I been a lawyer? Some would say too long, but I was admitted in the mid-70s, about 1975, so I'm closing in on 40 years. There was no great reason why I chose law. There was no family connection in the law. In fact, I often say that I became a lawyer before I met one. There were some kids in the year before me at school who chose law, and there was a number of my friends who chose law in the same year I was in. So as much as anything else, it was just brought about by a discussion with some guys I was at school with. I guess what keeps me in the law is that the people who come to see us because they've got a problem. And so I think it's a good job to have if you can solve people's problems. And more than anything else, that's what keeps me interested. I guess having practiced for nearly 40 years, you see some funny things that happen. And one issue that I'd never forget is we were acting for a guy in an injuries claim, and the insurer had played hardball with us right the way through, and so we had to go to trial for this guy. And early on in the trial, the insurer wheeled out their film, and it showed, presumably, our client painting and refurbishing a big ship that was in dry dock and being very physical about his activities. And when the film finished, the first question asked of him was, well, Mr. Jones, that's you in the film, isn't it? And he said, no, it's my twin brother, which was a pretty clever answer at the time, but happily it was the right answer because it was his twin brother. I guess my main interest outside of the law is sports administration. I've been lucky enough to be a president of a SANFL footy club for 10 years, and for the last 10 years I've been on the SANFL Commission, which has been tremendously interesting, particularly at a time when we've moved to Adelaide Oval. And the last 3 years I've been on the Stadium Management Authority at Adelaide Oval, and seeing the development of the ground over that time has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed that. I'm part of the induction process with new practitioners at Andersons, and what I preach to them is the necessity of a work-life balance. I don't want to see them in the office 24 hours a day. I want them to have a life outside of work. I want them to be productive when they're in the office, but I want them to be able to go home and lead a normal home life. Because you practice for a long time, you do get referrals that come to you specifically, and you don't often find out, you don't drill down to find out what it is that gets people to come back to you, right? I think one of the main things is that I'm accessible. People can ring me and get me, they can email and they get an answer, and I like to think that I can explain what's going on in a manner that they can understand, and I try and tell them a couple of jokes. They may not think they're funny, but I think it's important that they have a bit of a laugh when they come in.